Hello and welcome back to Dungeon Music Theater. Today we are continuing to talk about lazy gear. And I couldn't think of anything more lazier than Eurorack modules. Now the bandwagon effect was quite real, and perhaps far too many of us have bought far too many Eurorack modules, and they're not really being creative and not much output is happening. And so I'm challenging myself to sift through my Eurorack catalog and see what creative use I can make out of them and see if we can get anything cool.
Okay, so it turns out that the laziest Eurorack gear that I own happens to be Maths by Make Noise. Now, that's surprising because Maths should be and is the most popular and the most useful Eurorack of them all. But to me, it sort of became not the Swiss Army knife of do-it-all things. It became sort of a unintuitive master of none, where it didn't do a lot of things I wanted quickly. And so that seems really harsh, but it's probably an indictment on me and my lack of imagination more so than the module itself. Like if I wanted a VCA, I just kind of went and got a VCA, or if I needed to modulate something, I just kind of got a modulator. I didn't want to kind of sit there and tweak Maths to kind of bend to my will. And so I think as time went on, it just kind of became less and less useful and more lazy. So here I thought, what a great opportunity to put it through its paces. Maybe just even one thing that I think would kind of make this patch useful. So here I've got Deckard's voice, which is fantastic, by the way, and seeing if I can find a way to integrate Maths somehow. That's interesting. Okay, so here I just, I'm just riffing on a purely dry signal on Deckard's voice. And, the patches, it was so easy to make. It's just so intuitive, and it's just one voice. It's incredible how fat and rich it sounds. And so here I'm about to just activate Magneto because you need a little bit of delay on this thing. So yeah, I just literally just some typical patch. Added a little bit of tape delay, and I'm just kind of trying to find a little riff and figure out like what would I modulate and integrate Maths into. So I think I found it. I like movements in my sound, even if it's like a single note, and so there's a little pulse, and there's a pulse CV control. And so my idea was, okay, let's see if I can play around with it and modulate it just by hand. And then let's see if we can get Maths to do something interesting, modulating that single source, And again, Maths is really good at making interesting things out of CV. So my thought was, okay, let me design a patch on Deckard's voice that I like, and then let me figure out something that I want to automate. So it's that pulse thing that I want to automate. Oh, and so here I have it double patched. I just brought in the Atlantis just to see what it sounds like. And by the way, Atlantis is massive. And so this is like Atlantis layered on top of Deckard's voice. Again, you hear those little pulsing things, right? And my idea was I want to automate that using Maths. That was it. It's just a stupid simple thing. And the way I think Maths is patched is, it's the most simple thing there is, right? So using rise and fall, and also using the fourth channel on Maths to modulate the fall time. So it's just kind of doing something interesting to that little pulse. instead of me sort of manually doing it, I can have Mats do that for me in an interesting way, in an unexpected way. And so yeah, now I patched it in, and now Math is doing the modulation of the pulse, with modulator. And again, I'm just kind of tweaking little things here and there to have it fire off in a different and interesting way. And so this is great. This is probably what I need to do more. Instead of me performing things, sometimes I just need to grab Mats and patch that in. And again, I'm barely using hardly anything. Just again, scratching the surface of what Mats can do. So here, I pulled it out, and you can hear that it's manual. And right here I'm just kind of playing around with the, this is unmodulated, no Mats. And so yeah, that's, it was a super simple patch, but even just playing around with it for a few minutes, I realized what Mats can do. But it's like with all Eurorack, it's kind of like you have to find something that you like to do, which for me is just discovering new sounds, making tones, not making beats, and finding an aspect where I'm kind of tweaking. Hey, that sounds pretty cool, like that little rhythmic movement. Okay, instead of me doing it manually, let's figure something that Mats can do to help me automate it in a way that's interesting. And that's what it is. But I found that, again, I don't tend to reach for Mats. I just end up reaching for like an oscillator or something like that. So the cool thing about Mats is that it's not just an oscillator. It has all these like cool things built in that you can patch on its own. And so anyway, I got a kick out of that because that little pulse machine gun kind of weird stuttery thingy is super cool. And I'm sure if I refine it more, there could be some more uses of it. So Mats, you get to stay in my rack instead of getting sold off on Reverb or eBay or something, and had a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys will stick around later on when I do a little more deep dive on Deckard's voice, and also Atlantis too. Also, that's another thing. Like, man, Atlantis is so amazing. It's such a great synth, and just doesn't get used as often as it should be. And so I like to do a little thing on that. Many pieces of lazy gear, and of course, as you probably guess it now, it's not that the gear is lazy, it's the owner that's lazy with it. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.